It's about right. We're in Denmark. Let's see, we take off 5 months for vacation. But we work Sundays, so about 200 days, okay? I'm a consultant. People who are senior consultants generally bill out at about 200 euros an hour. That's the going rate in Copenhagen for a senior creative at an advertising agency. This is the going rate for a marketing executive in London. Okay, does that sound reasonable? Okay, so how much money are we spending a year? Hello, 40,000 euros. Boy, I hope we're getting a good return on investment. That's a lot of money. And I realize we're doing it in our free time and we think it's fun and a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down and all of that kind of thing. But is this really the best way we could be using our money? And just think of all the other people in your company that are also tweeting an hour a day. The metrics for social media are so screwed up. Oracle has a blog and they say, well, within the first 24 hours, we got 3,000 people reading our blog. And why? Is any good coming out of it? Are they measuring anything that's worth measuring? Just having the number of followers or the number of people signed up for your blog is not necessarily a very good thing to be measuring. As Mick has talked about, we want real metrics that are going to support our business case. That's what it's about. It's damned expensive. The truth, though, is that if you want to succeed in today's market, you've got to understand both the demographics and the behavior. You can't say, well, we're going to drop all our traditional marketing activities and we're only going to do social media. And despite what Eric says, we believe that there is such a thing as social media marketing and we're going to invest in it. You've got to do both. It's about building these relationships. You know, one-to-one is what we did for years. You went into the local store, and at one point, we knew the name of the person behind the counter. They knew our name. They knew that, oh, you know, we liked a particular type of whatever. I got my local Superbest to call me up one evening and said, Eric, we know that you like shark meat, and we just got shark meat in. Good for them. That's one-to-one marketing. And I went down and I bought shark meat. And I mean, shark meat is expensive. This was a major sale for my local Superbest. But I remember it, and I'm telling you all about it because it was a really good experience. And it's something that's made me remain loyal to a store even when they screw up on a lot of other things. So let me just talk about demographics a little bit. First of all, it's about defining the groups, okay? So who are we going to talk to, and what are their needs? Everybody with me? Remember, I teach at a business school sometimes, so. Now, this is going to get a little highbrow now, but just, you know, bear with me. So we'll look at the groups. I'd like to introduce you to the rabbit, and to the mouse, and to the dog, and to the chimpanzee. So these are our groups. These are our market segments. These are the groups that we would like to address through online media. So let's take a look at what they want. We've had an in-depth analysis phase, and we've identified all this wonderful content that we think would be relevant for the people in our, or cartoon animals, in our target group, okay? So how does this map out? Well, we say, well, you know, chimpanzees, they're interested in bananas. And the dog is going to want the bone, and the rabbit's going to want the carrot, and the mouse is going to go for the cheese. So far, so good? Okay, you've done these exercises before, I can see. I hope you're taking notes, because there's going to be a quiz a little later. Let me show you the fatal problem. And the fatal problem is right there. Any idea why this is a fatal problem? You're either very shy or... The problem is that this is a site that's trying to be everything to everyone. And this is the way most sites are designed, and it's not a really very good way to do it. One of the worst sites working along those principles where, well, theoretically, the monkey might want the cheese, We never know. So we better make that cheese available to the monkey. This is what we're trying to highlight. This is what we want to emphasize, and yet we build crap like that. I have it on good authority that the specification documents for this site filled 5 moving boxes. It took 2 senior consultants 6 months to answer the requests. And yet the result is, this is a terrible site. Of course, you might say it accurately reflects our parliament. But no, that's unfair. I mean, if they had had a content strategist and a decent information architect working on this project for 6 months, then they might have actually had a good site. Do you realize that if you actually go in and click on Melema, the members of the parliament, then you can go through an alphabetical listing. Do you know how they've alphabetized? By first name. These are the people we trust to run our country. This page is quite long, but just above the fold, we have no fewer than 45 links. And yet, as I pointed out earlier, we have absolutely zero focus. As somebody who lives in Copenhagen County, I don't know where to go. I don't even know why I'd want to be on this site. I had some specific questions that I posed because I say, hey, this is my business. I look at bad websites and tell people how to improve them. I couldn't navigate it. So let's talk a little bit about personalization. This is about anticipating the needs, and it's not the same thing as customization. Now, this is customization. This is when you go onto MySpace and you can upload your pictures and you can change the background. This is the same template, just with somebody else's pictures, another template, but the basic information is the same places, okay? This is customization. This is what we do to the website. When we customize our Google desktop, this is also customization. It is not personalization. It's important that you understand the distinction. Now, this is customization. This is when my computer remembers a password, or when Amazon comes up and suggests books that I might like to read. Their old system was actually better than this. This is called collaborative filtration, by the way. And for years, this was really the only way you could do any kind of real-time personalization on a site, because you had to have huge quantities of homogeneous data. In this case, like 2 million books. And every book has an author and a title and a cover. And so it was kind of easy to map all this stuff together. But that's kind of where personalization died, because most companies don't have 2 million pages of homogeneous data. So what are you going to do? Well, let's go back to our animals here. So I'm going to click on that bone there, all right? And if I could, I don't know, I don't dare to push any of the buttons up, but pretend I'm pointing at the bone, okay? So, right. So something has happened here. It's very subtle, but we can't really see. We don't know if there's a pattern. We don't know if it's truly a preference or what. But then another bone-like object is clicked, and suddenly, okay, right. Looks like this person is interested in bones and bone-like objects. And because we've been doing our content profiling, we think it's a dog. Let's see where they're going to go from here. Yes, definitely a doggy, definitely a doggy. So what we want to do at this point, I realize you've already seen 2 decks that tell you exactly the same thing. Sorry. What we want to do now is try to tone out some of the things that we're fairly sure are irrelevant. We're not removing them from the mix entirely, but we just want to sort of get them out of the way. You know, there's a little feng shui over this. It's a question of you eliminate the irrelevant, and that's actually not the way it goes. If you eliminate the irrelevant, the things that are important come to light, something like that. Whatever. You get the point.